State, yeah. My mom. They lost by one last night. I was watching it. They played that, or they just.
They played really good, but then they had Ohio State at the 4-yard line. It was like 4 minutes left, and they threw this straight pass, and J.K. Dobbins caught it, and he ran it for 50 yards. And then they caught this, and then they threw another straight pass.
I saw it. They were down by one, and they had the ball.
They did. So it's 4th and 5. They ran it from Ohio State, and it was good. But definitely had a hard time start like and then got me off. Then there was 3 timeouts called. And I was like, you came up with a pass right. I had 3 timeouts. Especially, I didn't get why they didn't go to Christmas early because it's 450 total yards.
Yeah. They should have won
So also, like, our best receiver is out.
Yeah.
So I guess it takes some confidence.
You saw it multiple options.
But I like Aaron Franklin this press conference after I like the things.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time I ask that you please rise and remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem.
They got nothing more to say.
I'd like to introduce the visiting team, 4th grade Ohio State Buckeyes. Number 10, Darian Burton. Number 12, Sam Sponsler. Number 18, Ethan McGrath. Number 27, Jordan Kinder. Number 30, Ian Murray. Number 33, Frank Fessenden. Number 44, Weston Muller. Number 51, Jack Wade. Number 55, Dion Upshaw. Number 58, E.J. Condick. Number 90, Oliver Callahan.
So you're taking over play-by-play for
Number 99, Mason Campbell.
Yeah, whatever you feel like, but whatever's comfortable with you. I mean, yeah, I think we're probably best to split it
Now
up.
for 4th grade English majors.
Number
Number 6, Chase Konsky.
Yeah. Yeah,
Number 7,
if
Alex
split it
Stafford.
evenly, you should be able to.
Number 10, Trenton Taylor. Number 12, Carter Reed. Number 18, Tyrell Benjamin. Number 27, Taylor Hockey. Number 30, Liam Jacobs. Number 33, Jack Spears. Number 40, Adam Bowden. Number 44, Caleb Ferguson. Number 50, Landon Ferguson. Number 90, Jacob Sutter. Number 99, Magic Squire. Best of luck to both teams today.
I need coaches for Ohio State.
Alright, lad. I'm gonna turn you up here in a minute. When you're ready. I was gonna turn you up when you're ready.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Just let me know.
All right, well, testing here. Just getting ready to start the broadcast for the 4th grade championship game here for the 2018 Fishers Hamilton Southeastern East Football Championships. Doing a little sound check right now. So,
You're good.
okay.
Yeah. And the one that never did, he just evolved. I think it's one of those when you get down to the goal line. Yep.
Okay, no problem. Well, hello and welcome to IU Health Field on the campus of Hamilton Southeastern High School in Fishers, Indiana, for the 4th grade championship game of the Fishers Hamilton Southeastern Youth Football Fishers for the Let me start over. Hello and welcome to IU Health Field at the campus of Hamilton Southeastern High School in Fishers, Indiana. My name is Lex Sword. I'm joined by Colin Bruce, and we'll be bringing you all the action here in the 4th grade championship game of Fishers Hamilton Southeastern Youth Football. Earlier, Navy beat Air Force 14-12 in a real thriller, and now we're going to get a look at more into the future of Fishers and Hamilton Southeastern football there, as we open the game there on a 2-yard rush. That was Frank Fessenden, who picked up about a yard there. This game is between the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Indiana Hoosiers. Here in Fishers Hamilton Southeastern Youth Football, both teams, all the teams have the names of major college football teams. So now Ohio State lines up there, and I apologize for the abrupt beginning. I did not realize that the game was going to start so soon. So anyway, we got the wishbone formation there. Got a rush there, and he gets it up to about 45. That was a Weston Muller there on the carry. Get about 4, so that'll bring up about 3rd and 5. But you know, it's one thing that's interesting for me to observe, and I experienced this 2 years ago when I commentated this event, is that as the rules expand for each successive grade they play. The rules expand to reflect that these kids are getting bigger and more mature and ready to have more autonomy. And now they got a rush. He's going to be just stopped just shy of the first down. Muller, I think, is in forward progress up to 49. He'll be just short of the first down. So let's see, he got 4 on his first carry as well. It'll bring up 4th and 1. Let's see if they go for it here. Now, in the 3rd grade ball, they play 2-minute quarters, but with the running clock here in 4th grade ball, they play 8-minute quarters. So now, that wishbone formation, the Buckeyes line up. And now a handoff, and we got a flag though, so let's see what happens here. Let's see what the deal is. False start against Ohio State, so it will be coming back. So from 4th and 1 to 4th and 6. And now, with that wishbone formation again, Ohio State going for it on 4th down at their own 44. And hand up there, and he rolls over to his right. Now he switches directions. We got a flag. He's brought down for maybe about 1, but let's see if it even counts. That was Frank Fessenden on the carry, but it might be coming back.
Well, short.
Holding against, and it's going to be declined, so Indiana will take over a very good field position.
Well, it's a tough break for Ohio State. They had a short run to the outside, just not able to get anywhere going. So Indiana, will take over on 1st and 10.
So now we're going to get a first look at the game at the Indiana offense now. If this were a real Indiana-Ohio State game, Ohio State would probably be about a 35-40 point favorite, but we'll see how it is here now that we're in the Fishers Hamilton Southeastern Youth League as opposed to the Big Ten. And we got a rush there up the middle for about 4 yards. That was Adam Hogue there for Indiana. That's Hoog. Good Dutch name.
I suspect we'll see a lot more better tackling up here than we will at the third grade level. What do you think, Luck?
I think so, yeah. And what's really interesting, I noticed this 2 years ago as well, is just, when you think about being, a year older, you don't think about a huge size difference. But, yeah, there really is a big size difference for each successive grade. So now the ball given over to Carter Reed. He's got the room on the right side. He's got the first down and more inside. Now he breaks the tackle inside the 15, 10, 5. Did he get it? Yes. 41 yards for the touchdown there by Lloyd Reed. And Indiana opens the scoring with 3:54 to go here in the first quarter of the fourth grade championship game.
Well, I think we all know what would happen if this was the actual Big Ten matchup. I don't think Indiana would have taken that one to the house. I think it would have been a little bit of a flip side if it was the actual Big Ten.
I think you're right, yeah. Yeah, I'm 47 years old, and Indiana has beaten Ohio State in football exactly twice in my lifetime. So, yeah, that says it all. So now 2-point conversion attempt here. And they got it.
All right, 2-point conversion good for Indiana.
Adam Hogue there.
8-point lead.
So Indiana opens the scoring there with 1:40 to go in the first quarter. And they're playing the IU Pipelines just like when Navy beat Ohio State for the championship, for the third grade championship. They played the Navy Pipes song. So anyway, and this is what first one proves difference in third grade ball. You start on your opponent's 40 now in that's the third grade ball. You start at your opponent's 40 now here in fourth grade ball. You start at your own 40, so they move you back 20 yards. But you still have your coaches on the field with you.
All right, here, a bit of an interesting offensive set for Ohio State.
Yeah, looks like they were running the wishbone. And
Short gain on the play. Good defense here from Indiana so far.
And by the way, I apologize. The conversion only counted for 1 point. So running the conversion only counts for 1 point here in fourth grade ball. It's hard to gear into all the rule changes from one grade to the next.
It's interesting it only counts for 1 point down or up here. I mean, you figured it'd count for a little bit more. Since it was a 2-point conversion for third grade level.
Yeah, it is interesting to observe. And now they stop him for about 2.
Boy, Indiana just having really good defense here so far. It's hard for Ohio State to get anything going on the ground here. But Indiana really looks like they have a good group of linebackers. This is just like we talked about, getting these kids familiar with that defense. They'll be growing up in for the next few years.
Oh, yes, definitely. So now, Ohio State trying to get something going on offense. They've been pretty well contained so far. Running that wishbone. Reverse. And now he's brought down. He might have.
Once again, good rally to the ball by Indiana. The quarterback sold the fake, but the linebacker stayed home and was able to chase him down. This was a good play good speed from the linebackers of Indiana.
Did you see who got the carry there?
It was the quarterback, I believe.
still really struggling to get anything going.
I think it was number 18, Ethan McGrath, with the carry. His nickname Hawkeye.
Yeah, that's the one thing, you know, Colin. I give a lot of credit to these. Hold on. Let's talk this play. But fourth down in Ohio State going for it. Maybe they're not allowed to punt it down this level. I don't know. But
That's going to be a turnover on downs. Indiana's going to take over possession again with a good field position. It was a fumbled snap, and Ohio State was able to jump on it, but Indiana able to get back there and clean it up before anything could become of it.
Well, I'll tell you, on these this Ohio State roster, it actually has a nickname for every player. I've never seen that. In over 200 games, I estimate that I've commentated in sports over the years. I've never seen a roster that actually listed nicknames of the players before.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. That's definitely interesting. I looked at a few of those on there, and I laughed at myself, thinking, huh. All right, here, Indiana going with a heavy run.
He's got some room over on the left side, inside the 35, inside the 30, 25, 20,
Wow.
15, 10. He could go all the way. He dives at the end zone. Yes. Indiana, that's Carter Reed with his second touchdown.
Oh, there's a flag on the field, Leck. There's a flag on the field.
Carter Reed's, and it would be ironic because he had a 41-yard touchdown rush earlier, and that would have been a 41, but it's a block in the back, so it will be coming back.
Man, like, do you think we could send all the current Indiana football roster down here? We could send these guys down there to Bloomington to play. They seem to be doing pretty good so far.
Yeah, I don't think they do a whole lot worse than the real Hoosiers have done in recent years. And maybe someday they will be. I've commentated a few players over the years who've gone on to play for IU. Jay Shun Harris from Fishers, who's now a senior wide receiver, and then Chase Nuzra from Brownsburg, who I think he was a senior a year or two ago.
Well, we've also had I was just about to mention him. Yeah, very successful player, and I saw him get some playing time early on in the season. He had a few receptions. He was injured last year. Didn't play a whole lot right there. Nice run up the middle for Indiana.
By 40, that's Adam Hogue, Hogue, and that's the end of the quarter. So after one play here at Hamilton Southeastern here in Fishers, your score, Indiana 7, Ohio State 0 for the 4th grade championship.
And well, it looks like Indiana has some home field advantage. IU Health Field, the name where Hamilton Southeastern plays.
I never even thought about that.
It's always good to have the home field advantage.
Yes, it is.
Well, it looks like Indiana really has everything figured out here. They've had two long would have had two long touchdown runs. They have one so far.
Yeah, they still could get another one here. And I'll tell you, it's still early, but that first game, I think we could tell pretty early between between Navy and Air Force that it was going to be, that they were two evenly matched teams. This game looks like, Indiana could run away with it.
Yeah, and that's it's interesting. I mean, most of obviously more retrospect, the bigger team in the Big Ten, it'd be an opposite story. Ohio State would run away with it, but it looks like Indiana might have a little bit of bragging rights here. Well, they could say, well, our youth league sponsor team ended up beating your youth league sponsor team, so. I guess it's not all bad. Right here, nice run to the outside.
Hand off to Carter Reed, and he's got look at that. Look at his
wow.
30, 25, 20.
Well, he's still going.
And he's hard to bring down. Gets up on 36, a gain of about 16 yards there by Carter Reed.
Boy, he's a shifty player, isn't he? I mean, the linebackers did a lot of good things right there, trying to contain him, but he's just using his feet to get to the outside.
Yeah, he doesn't just have the speed; he has the moves.
Oh, for sure. Like, and that's definitely a good commodity to have, especially when you're younger. That's something you don't need to develop as much when you get into high school. I mean, you still work on it, and you still make that a very big part of your game. But having that ability to do that already really will put you ahead in the future.
Oh, yeah. So definitely that's a name I'm going to be remembering, Carter Reed, just like Ryan Dolan from the opener, and as well as Keegan Gates. And now,
Most definitely.
to Hogue, he shifts directions and gets inside the 15. It's going to be a pickup of about 3 or 4 with 7:09 to go.
That was a good run by Hogue. He tried to get the outsider right there. The Ohio State defense all over it.
Ohio State 3 and out on its first 2 possessions. Actually 4 and out. They turned it over on downs. And they changed the rules from grade to grade. Maybe they don't even allow punting on maybe they don't allow punting. I'm not sure. You're in 4th grade ball. Now a handoff there. I believe it's Reed again, but this time they're ready for. Well, they try to bring him down. He stays up. Man, he is stubborn. And finally they bring him down. But wow, it took seemed like about 6 or 7 seconds. So Carter Reed gets an A+ for effort on that one, even though he does end up with a loss of 2 yards there. But yeah, it's hard to imagine a 4th grader being that hard to bring down.
Well, they surely do exist. And, I mean, those kids are the ones who are going to be the stars in the youth league, going all the way through the youth league and then junior high. And then when they get to high school, they run into some more competition guys who are just about same skill level, if not better than them. And that's when they're really going to have to learn the hard work and dedication of the sport. And the mental toughness factor is going to have to check in.
So 3rd down at the 3rd and 9 at the 15. Give it to Reed again. He takes it over to the right. He breaks a tackle. Now shifts forward and gets around to the 10. Spins around, brought down around the 10. So it's going to be 4th and about 4 there, but still great effort there by Carter Reed just to pick up those 5 yards or so.
A good effort by the Ohio State defense and good contain to rally to the football. Carter Reed is a dangerous runner. He already has a touchdown on the board, and, I mean, he would have had a second one. But right now the Ohio State defense holding strong. It's 4th down.
So 4:51 to go here in the second quarter of the 4th grade championship game here at Hamilton Southeastern High School here in Fishers, Indiana. And now we've got a timeout here. Timeout Indiana, so the Hoosiers see that they have a chance to take firm control of this game with a touchdown here around midway through the second quarter. They want to make sure they get the job done. My name is Lex Sword. I'm joined by Colin Brooms, and we're going to be with you all afternoon long throughout the sport championship games. We're in the second game of our quadruple header. Navy beat Air Force 14-12 in the 3rd grade game. Now Indiana is playing Ohio State 7-0 in the 4th grade game. Both teams, Indiana certainly has full control of this game, and will really be in the driver's seat if they get a score here on this drive. And then we've got 2 games coming at you after that. These are 2 of the top, probably the top 10, top 15 football programs in the state. And jointly they have this outstanding football league to get the players ready for high school ball. So now, Indiana with that wishbone formation. Handoff to Reed again. He goes over to the right. He gets inside the 10. And
he's slung
brought
down
by a gang of tacklers. I think there were 3 in on it.
Ohio State's defense finally comes alive. They get him right there for the stop.
So they mark it there. So Ohio State will be taking over there at the 9 after a 3-yard pickup by Carter Reed. And I will give Ohio State credit. They have, made some adjustments, and they've been ready for Reed the last few plays. He, by my count, he only has 5 net yards his last 3 carries. So,
well,
good job.
Ohio State gave up that big run to him earlier. They weren't going to let him get it this time. And right now they're going to have to drive length of the field, try to get down to the other side.
Yeah. 4:24 to go and counting. Both teams running a wishbone formation here. So handoff for that was Muller there.
Oh, good protection from Indiana. They
He
got
got,
right there, and they plugged up all the running lanes.
Yeah, stopped him dead in his tracks for no gain. That'll bring up 2nd and 10 for the Buckeyes. So now the Buckeyes break huddle, take formation here. And now a handoff, and he's brought down for a loss. Bringing up 3rd and long.
Timeout taken by Indiana. Well, that's 3 minutes to go until the second quarter's over. If Indiana could get the stop here and make it a 4th down, then convert on 4th down, they could be set up in really good field position here to take an even bigger lead.
Did you catch who took that last rush for?
I did not.
Okay. Yeah, those. I'll tell you. You know, there are certain, and Colin, you've probably noticed this, being a commentator yourself. But there are certain color schemes that make it very hard to decipher the numbers at night, and then there are others such as Ohio State's color scheme right now that make it very hard to decipher numbers during daylight.
Oh yeah, it's. I remember I went to Perry Meridian game, Plainfield against Perry Meridian, and Perry Meridian had black jerseys and then black numbers with the outline with a powder blue outline.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I had a hard time all night trying to figure out who was what and what numbers were who, because I couldn't see anything. Thank gosh I had my binoculars with me so I could look down on the field and see. But even when I did that, it was hard to see because it was a rainy night that night.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't tell what numbers were what. So color schemes, yeah, they play into a factor for broadcasters such as you and I. And when we can't really tell color schemes and numbers apart from jerseys, that just makes it tough on our job.
Oh, yeah. And to me, the worst offender, and I hate to say this because, it's my team, but Cascade. Oh, and they got a fumble here.
Uh-oh. Oh, it looks like Indiana's got it.
Indiana's got it. So the Hoosiers knocking on the door of taking a 2-possession lead late here in the half.
Wow. Indiana with some stellar defense here early. They're a very stout bunch up front.
Yeah.
IU really taking it to Ohio State. And that's not something we say very often here in Indiana.
Yeah. So my money is that they're going to give it to Carter Reed. They have it at the 2. I think they're going to give it to Carter Reed for the touchdown, but who knows? Maybe they'll fake a handoff to him, and then the quarterback will run in easily. We'll see. But yeah, it's going to be to me though the worst offender of having a bad color scheme for jerseys is the Cascade girls basketball home jerseys, white jerseys with baby blue numbers. They are so hard to decipher.
Oh yeah, that would be a definitely tough thing to look at. That's just something that's not.
And they got a touchdown there. Was Adam Hogue from 2 yards out.
The Hoosiers on top here. 2 possessions. Wow.
So Adam Hogue not as heralded in this game so far as is Carter Reed, but he does get a very important touchdown there. And now Indiana is up 13-0 with the conversion pending. The Hoosiers taking advantage of that fumble. Well, yeah, Colin. I remember the very last time we worked together. It was at a Cascade. It was the home
You're right.
opener
That was
for Cascade Girls
my
basketball.
first ever broadcast with Audio Sports Online.
That's right. Yeah, and I remember it was a very painful game from a Cascade perspective that they blew a 15-point lead and
Yeah,
lost.
that was definitely a very, very
And now
tough
a handoff
loss.
there for the 2-point conversion. It's going to be. Yeah, he's got it. He's got it. That was Carter Reed there.
So that's the extra point. Good. Well, they
And-
make it 15 now, so they do give them 2 after they only gave them 1 point
You know,
last time
maybe
they
it has
converted.
to do with like where the ball was spotted from. I don't know, because I remember the late XFL in its only season. For the playoffs that year, they introduced a really odd conversion rule where you could go for a 1-point conversion, I think, from the 2, a 2-point conversion from the 5, or a 3-point conversion from the 10. So maybe it's. I don't know. The thing is, it's so odd, and granted these are pretty informal broadcasts, but because they changed the rule from 3rd to 4th to 5th to 6th grade, it's hard to keep track about which rules were on.
Yeah, and the XFL, they had a load of interesting rules. I mean, their kickoffs were decided by placing a ball at midfield and making 2 guys run and tackle each other for it. So,
oh yeah,
but the XFL is making a comeback in 2020 with Andrew Luck's father being the XFL commissioner.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay,
Yeah.
Well, I knew it was coming back. I didn't know about Oliver Luck.
Yeah.
But, okay, well, good.
Yeah,
I hope it does
Oliver
well.
Luck is now the commissioner of the XFL, making a comeback.
All right. Well, good.
But they're also in contention with another football league. The American Football League is coming back as well. It's called the AAFL.
All-American Football League, yeah.
Yeah. It's
Okay, yeah.
definitely another pro sports league. Michael Vick is one of the head coaches for the Atlanta Legends. That will be a football team coming up here in 2019, I believe, when the season will kick off. And then also have a lot of other teams. They have 8 teams total to start off the league. They have the San Diego. San Diego is a team. San Antonio, Birmingham, Orlando, Atlanta, and then three other teams that are going to be in there. Salt Lake is one of them, I believe, and Arizona will have a team as well.
And now we got a quarterback keeper there up the middle.
Ooh, he picks up the first down there across the 50-yard line.
About a 12-yard pickup there.
Yeah, with all these, a lot of new football leagues coming back around here in 2018, getting their starts in the upcoming future, and that just shows you the growth and development of football as a game of whole, especially with all these other leagues trying to overtake the NFL. But I don't think that'll ever happen. I think the NFL is honestly too big of a business to fail, especially with the way they run things. It's very controversial sometimes, and they do make a lot of interesting changes to the rules, but I do believe the NFL will still be the most dominant football league out there, mainly because of its deep history in America.
Yeah, it will be, but it'll be interesting to see how the new leagues do. And I think the XFL the first time. Yeah, hold that thought to this play. Oh, nearly a quarterback sack there. Does a nice job.
And they get him this time.
Dodging one sack, but then he's hit by another one.
That's number 99.
That was McGrath there, brought down for a loss of about 8. Yes, it's an 8-yard loss there. But yeah, it's
that was 99 there. Maddox Dyer. He got back there after the quarterback for Ohio State was able to shake a few tackles, and then he came in for the finishing touches on that loss right there. So
and now only 14 seconds left. Looks like Ohio State is going to take at least one more play here in the. Well, they better hurry though. They're not even set yet. 5 seconds for. I don't
think they're going to set.
And now it looks like they take their timeout with 1.7 seconds to go. I think the players were oblivious to that the clock was going to run out, but somebody, probably the coach, was alert and called the timeout. But yeah, I really believe that the original XFL would have, I don't think been a huge success, but at least done passably and given fans an alternative. Given fans some football to watch during the off season. But they just made a fatal error by going prime time on NBC. I mean, that really did really good.
That really hurt them.
Yeah.
A lot of other things hurt them too. There's a lot of controversial issues that really played into their downfall, and a lot of people just kind of looked at the XFL as if it was like another version of WWE.
Yeah.
Mainly because it was ran by the WWE executive and CEO.
Yeah.
But I think that just played into the factor that people didn't want to watch
People- yeah, a
WWE
lot of-
football. A lot of people wanted to watch real life football.
Yeah.
And what they got was basically a watered down version of the WWE.
Yeah, well, and there was some good football, but all the gimmicks just really cheapened it. And
Yeah.
I think Vince McMahon has learned from that, and I think he's going to do things a lot better this time. So now, last play of the quarter, apparently, fakes the handoff there. McGrath's
wow,
got
look
some
at
room
that.
over on the left side, but I think he's going to run out of room, and they bring him down for a 1-yard loss. So at halftime here in the fourth grade championship game, Indiana looks like they're on their way to getting the title. They lead Ohio State by a score of 15-0. So this quick scoring recap. With 3:54 to go in the first quarter, Carter Reed scored a touchdown on a 41-yard rush. Adam Hogue rushed in a one-point conversion to make it 7-0. And then we had sort of the opposite in the second quarter with 2:51 to go. This time it was Hogue who ran for the touchdown, 2 yards, the first play after Indiana recovered an Ohio State fumble. And then this time it was Reed who rushed in the conversion. It was a 2-point conversion, however, bringing us to our current score of 15-0. Look at the individual statistics, first of all, for Indiana. Carter Reed has 6 rushes for 67 yards and a touchdown, while Adam Hogue has 4 rushes for 14 yards and a touchdown. Meanwhile, for Ohio State, let's see, we have Frank Fessenden with 5 rushes for 5 yards. Weston Muller, 3 for 8. Ethan McGrath, 5 for 4. And let's see here. And then Sam Sponseller, 1 for 2.
And I really credit this Indiana lead to their defense, their linebackers putting a lot of pressure on the run, and they've been stopping the run with great success. And also their defensive line has been able to clean up tackles. They haven't allowed the offensive line of Ohio State to really move them and create any running lanes for their running backs. Ohio State's running backs have been shut down here to this point, and Indiana's defense has been very solid all the way around.
Yeah, I mean, it's really been a thoroughly dominant performance by Indiana, and, had they not, basically, Ohio State does not even have a first down yet. So, imagine that in Big Ten football. Ohio State not having a first down against anybody.
The day the day that Urban Meyer is gone and Dwayne Haskins and all of them are gone is the day we would most likely see that. And even then, I still don't think that Ohio State would ever fall to that point. Really, Ohio State's just has always been one of the most dominant football programs in the country throughout college football history, and they've proven it time and time again. They've won the first ever national championship for the college football playoff. They had legendary head coaches such as Jim Tressel, Urban Meyer, who already won a national championship with Tim Tebow at Florida, and Aaron Hernandez, to name a few, and just Tim Tebow is probably one of the best players to come out from Ohio State or from
Florida.
Florida. But I meant to say Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
I was thinking Urban Meyer in Ohio State.
Yeah.
But, Tim Tebow. I know he went to Florida, but he's one of the best players to come out from under Urban Meyer. And obviously, Tebow didn't really have the most successful NFL career that everybody hoped he would have. But Tebow just continues to be one of the best people that Urban Meyer has ever coached.
Yeah.
He was one of the hardest workers on that Florida football team.
He is, and I hope his baseball career works out. I certainly give him credit for trying. The NFL has become so homogenized. It just doesn't have, guys like who run the kind of offense that Tebow does generally don't get much of a chance. It's a tribute to what a great talent he is that he even squeaked out 3 years in the league and was a starter for most of one season there with Denver before, of course, the arrival of Peyton Manning. But, you know, I was really hoping he would try arena ball or the CFL or something, you know. But I hope he does well in baseball, too. And I remember when Gene Simmons co-owned an arena football team, he went all out to sign Tebow, but I guess Tebow decided that he didn't want to play arena ball. And I can understand, you know, there's just not much.
Well, a lot of
Yeah,
few successful players have come out of arena football. I mean, the most successful probably Kurt Warner.
Yeah, Hall of Famer.
Yeah, Hall of Fame quarterback. Got his chance in the NFL after he was a stacker at a grocery store
Yeah.
for years.
Yeah.
Went and played in Europe for football.
Yeah, the
played,
Amsterdam Admirals.
Yep,
Yeah.
played in the Arena Football League for the Barons. And, I mean, he just, you know, Kurt Warner,
Yeah, it was the
one of the best
Iowa
success stories.
Barnstormers. That
Yeah.
was his team. Yeah.
Yeah. The Kurt Warner, probably one of the most successful football stories out there in terms of rising from not getting a chance to then taking his chance and making the most of his opportunity and leading one of the best offenses in NFL history to the Super Bowl twice.
Yeah.
Well, you know, been in the Super Bowl twice. Arizona Cardinals in 2008 against Pittsburgh Steelers, and then unfortunately Warner in that game is known for throwing his infamous pick six to James Harrison, but that doesn't define Warner's career whatsoever.
No, in fact, you know, at one time, I don't think he does anymore, but at one time he had the 3 highest passing totals in Super Bowl history. Mm-hmm. And I think the thing is, with Warner, you know, he went between his two, when he got to the 2 out of 3 Super Bowls with the Rams in 99 and 01, he went through a 5-year stretch where he wasn't healthy. Mm-hmm. And people wrote him off, but then he came back strong in his late 30s with the Cardinals.
Yeah,
and
he made his resurgence with the Cardinals, and that really revived his career.
Yeah, and you know, one thing that really says a lot about Warner. Look at the 2 teams with whom he got to the Super Bowl: the Rams and the Cardinals. 2 teams really they don't have, especially the Cardinals, really don't have very good histories.
2 teams, one is now currently in their rebuilding stage right here. Nice run by Indiana to get to the outside across the 50-yard line.
Yeah, that was Hogue. He got about 12 out of it.
And speaking of which, the Rams, now you look at them, they're on fire. Still undefeated in the NFL. And with a perfect 6-0 record, they just defeated the Minnesota Vikings recently. And, I mean, they're just – Jared Goff has played amazing. I will say Jared Goff does not get enough credit for the way he plays on the L.A. Rams. He is he's probably one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the league. And he's only in his sophomore year in the NFL. But did you see his stat line the other night? Almost 500 yards, 456 yards, and 5 touchdown passes. Unbelievable.
Well, so there's some delay here. I'm not sure what's going on. Well, I'll tell you, though, Colin, I'm glad that the sun has moved so that it's no longer glaring off this glass.
I agree.
One thing I hate about daytime broadcasts, you have to deal with that so often. Mm-hmm. And press boxes can often get really uncomfortable during. I've had that with a lot of the JV, especially the early season JV freshman broadcasts where it's 10 o'clock in the morning, you got the sun glaring out at you. And it just reflects off that glass.
Yeah, and a lot of stadiums, the press box does face the east side. And they always say, sun rises in the east and sets in the west. And, it's definitely early morning. It's hard to sit there and have the sun glaring on you, but it's also hard earlier in the evening when the visiting fans, they get that sun on them too when it starts setting. And a lot of stadiums, they face north to south. And this is the sun, thankfully has passed over the press box. Just about 2:17
Carter Reed
here.
There, and he gets about 4. Now, they have been ready for Carter Reed the last few times, but he did get positive yards, about 4 on that one.
That was a good run by Reed, but the Ohio State defense has been on their toes trying to keep track of Carter Reed. The linebackers have done a really good job, and the defensive line has had some trouble trying to get some penetration up front against the Indiana offensive line. They haven't put any pressure on the quarterback lately, and honestly, the quarterback hasn't really needed to worry about it because he's either just giving it to Carter Reed on the outside or he's just taking it up himself straight up the middle.
Yeah, and certainly it looks like Indiana on its way, especially if they get a score on this drive, on their way to a very comfortable championship here. And now,
And right here, the handoff on the outside. Ooh,
and
nice cutback.
that's somebody new with the ball, and he's got the first down past the 35 up to about the 33.
That's number 40, Adam Hogue, I believe.
Was it 40? I thought it was 10. Was it 40?
I believe it was 40. Yeah,
Okay.
he was the left
Okay,
side,
yeah.
the left side fullback.
Okay, then
He
that's-
tried coming over across to the right side of the field, but then he had to cut back to the
Okay,
middle, and I
I
got a
think you're
glimpse
right.
of his
It
number.
looked like I think it was a 40. It looked like a 10 from my vantage point. In that case, it was Hogue, who's been in quite a bit today.
Yeah, it's hard to use your natural eyesight to try and point out players because some numbers look like others. And sometimes you can get confused, like some 4s could look like 9s, and
Or sevens looks
just
like ones
seven,
also.
7s could look like 1s
Yeah.
and stuff. And it's definitely tough to try and tell which numbers are which.
Now, what do you call this back formation?
I
there?
would call this the full house set.
Okay.
It's similar to what we run at Western Boone. It's kind of a triple option set, basically what Navy runs. But instead of for Weibo, we don't really run a triple option. It's more of a, you bring either one of the fullbacks over to block, what we call them wings. You bring a wing, you make him go in motion behind the fullback, basically do like a loop, and then he will provide either blocking for the fullback or he will get it on the toss, depending on the play call. The quarterback very rarely keeps the ball and tries to run the option. It's basically just you either hand off to the fullback or you pitch it to the outside to the guy who's doing the loop, to the wing.
Oh, okay.
And then the other wing provides is also a blocker, and he tries to set the level and get to the next level to block in the secondary for the wing coming behind him. So depending on which way the play could go, this is more the wishbone set right here that Indiana is running.
Okay, handoff there to who was that? He gets inside the
That's
25.
Hogue again.
That's Hogue, yeah. So another pickup of about 10 yards there. And we do have another first down with 5:04 to go, and they give him credit for 10 there. Hogue, a very quietly effective game. He and Reed each with a touchdown, and in each case the others scored the conversion off that touchdown.
But yeah, our head coach Justin Pelly really loved to use that offensive set earlier that Indiana just showed. It wasn't the wishbone set, but it was the heavy set. That's what Pelly refers to it as, is the heavy set. He doesn't go to it much this year anymore because basically for the offense to be successful, you need a pretty big running back and you need a pretty big fullback that can really run the ball heavy. And also you need a really big offensive line on the right side to try and get it. And right there, the quarterback keeper.
And Colin, actually, my mom just texted me, said she sees the picture, but here's no audio.
I'm trying to figure that out here. I texted Rob earlier to ask him if he could hear it, and he said he could hear it just fine.
Okay.
So for some reason, I'm not sure why
Okay.
it's...
when did you...
I texted him just a few minutes ago, actually.
Oh, okay.
I asked him, it was when we got the complaint from another person. that
Okay,
said they
so
couldn't-
if Rob can hear us, I'll take his word for it. Because, I mean, if anybody would know, he would be the one.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, I've looked into it, and we've got the levels
Yeah.
right here on the screen, but
yeah,
for some
maybe
reason, I don't
somebody's just not picking it up on their mobile device. I don't know.
know. Maybe it just might be a technical issue.
Yeah.
Could be easily figured out right
So
there.
now
Hogue with the
Hogue,
carry.
wow. Hogue isn't flashy, but he's getting consistent, 10 yards or so per rush. Got up about 9 on that one.
Yeah, he's definitely a very tough runner, and that's why they like to use him out of that heavy set, so that he can get those easy yards. I'm going to take a look here and see if I can figure out anything with the audio as to why we're having issues.
Okay. So now, and hopefully you all can hear this, but anyway, Indiana has the ball first and goal at the 8 with 3:25 to go here in the third quarter, leading 15-0 over Ohio State in the fourth grade championship game. Got wishbone formation now. Handoff now. I can't tell who has it, but it looks
That's
like
Hogue again.
Yeah. It looks like he got up. I think they're gonna give him forward progress.
And
up to the 3.
while the Indiana rushing attack is dominating this game, I do want to make a comment. The NFL, the Chicago Bears, Mitch Trubisky has 5 touchdown passes through the first half, and the Bears lead 35-3. So Mitch Trubisky already doing great so far in his in this another NFL game.
So first and goal at the 4. So now with the wishbone formation. And now quarterback keeper, he's got some room over the left side. He might get in. It's gonna be close. He does. Yes, touchdown. That was Chase Koski with his first rush of the game. He goes 4 yards for the touchdown. And Indiana has firmly taken control with 2:09 to go here in the third quarter. Your score now 21-0 with the conversion pending.
Wow, Indiana just really going with that dominating rushing attack. They've done very well here so far in this football game. It's really hard for Ohio State to keep up with this plethora of runners that Indiana is able to produce.
So now Indiana going for a conversion. All but clinched this game now. They're 10 minutes and 9 seconds away from getting the championship. And now Reed takes it over to the left side. He's got it. Yes. Carter Reed with his second successful conversion of the game. He scored 1 touchdown and then got a conversion, rushed in for a conversion on the other 2 touchdowns. And so that makes it 23-0. This was a 2-point conversion. But, Colin, I'll tell you, I think that was a great time for Koski to make the rush, because prior to that, by my count, Reed and Hogue had done all the rushing for IU. So, obviously they were drawing all the attention. So Koski, by sweeping around to the left, he was able to get into the end zone, fairly easily.
Oh, yeah, definitely. When you start focusing in on certain players that have just been dominating the whole game, that really opens up holes for other players to get involved in the offense. Like you talked about, he's able to take it to the outside, get the touchdown. I mean, everybody was expecting that either Hogue or another running back in the backfield would get it. But you start to forget about those other players when you're on defense. You kind of wave them off as if they're not really contributing much. We've got them taken care of, but we just need to focus on stopping the main guys, and then those other guys start to make those contributions, and then you're basically sitting there going, well, how are we going to stop this guy and then Hogue and then another running back, and then you got to stop Carter Reed on top of it.
So now Ohio State trying to get something going. They have not gotten a first down in this game. They trail 23-0, and they got a fumble. Who got it?
Looks like Ohio State recovered it.
And
we're still waiting.
The clock stopped with 1:27 to go here in the third quarter.
Yeah, I believe Ohio State did recover it.
So 2nd and 11 at the 39 for Ohio State. So 1st and 10 at the 39. 2nd and 11, excuse me. And now he's stopped dead in his tracks. That was Dion Upshaw on the rush there. He just got back to the line of scrimmage. .28 seconds to go now in the third quarter. Indiana on their way, apparently, to an easy championship here, with Adam Hogue and Carter Reed, the 2 players to watch out for. over these next few years.
Yeah, and Indiana's defense has been really good so far. The linebackers are going to be probably the biggest part of his defensive strong suit. You see, they bring down, that's the end of the
And I don't
quarter.
think
They
he got
couldn't
the
get the
play
snap
off.
off.
Yeah, I guess they weren't paying attention unless he just beat the snap.
I don't think he got it off in time. So it's probably going to end the third quarter, going into the fourth. Indiana on top, 23-0.
You're listening to the Fishers Hamilton Southeastern Youth Football Championships here on Audio Sports Online. My name is Lex Zorn. I'm joined by Colin Bruns, and we're only 3/8 of the way through our broadcast today. We already brought you the third grade game in which Navy beat Air Force for the championship by a score of 14-12, and now Indiana, in a much less tense game, appears to be running away with the championship here for the fourth grade. They lead Ohio State after three quarters, 23-0.
Well, it's not quite going to be a nail biter like we saw in the first third grade championship. So far, Indiana has just dominated this one, much less like Navy and Air Force. Really, that was such an evenly matched game. It really just came down to the wire. A 2-point win for Navy to take home the third grade championship.
Yeah, and in this game, it started off with Carter Reed going 41 yards for the touchdown, and then on IU's second possession, he had another 41-yard touchdown rush for a touchdown that was called back because of a penalty. And Indiana hasn't had any huge gains since then. They've just done a lot of 5-10-yard gains that have just kept the clock and the chains moving, and then Ohio State has not gotten a first down in the game, so it's just been domination on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, it's been really tough for Ohio State to really stop the run from Indiana, and it's also been hard to get anything going on offense for Ohio State. Right here, they've been stopped multiple times in the backfield by the IU defense. The defensive line for IU is playing really well, and you see on the sideline, number 99, that's Maddox Dyer. He already has a sack in this game on the quarterback when he tried to keep it and roll to the outside. So that just shows you that what kind of pressure that Ohio State's offensive line's been giving up. They're going to have to really stick the air, clean it up, and try to make some running room for the running backs.
So now hand up there, and finally Ohio State gets a decent gain there.
Oh, good positive yards by Ohio State.
That was Muller, and he gets a gain of about 8 there. And I think it's Muller who's slow to get up. Hopefully he's okay.
Yeah, it was the runner for Ohio State who just got that big gain. Yeah, it's 44. Well, he's going to get a look at from the training staff here, and after the big run, he does put his team in good field position, try to pick up the first down. They're about 3 yards away. It'll be about 4th and 3.
Ohio State's jerseys now are sort of opposite of what Danville's road jerseys are this season, because I commentated Danville back in week 1 out at Cascade, and they had maroon jerseys with silver numbers, and I had a very hard time reading them.
Yeah, Danville's got some interesting color schemes for their jerseys, and but Danville, their players are hard to miss, especially with Ben Slayton back there at quarterback to take over for their last quarterback that led them all the way to a semi-state appearance.
And Slayton. Danville got off to a slow start, 0-3, but they've really come on strong. They've won 4 in a row now, and I think the thing is Slayton, he had been in Plainfield his entire career until this season, and then transferred after a much publicized off-the-field incident. And I think he just had a hard time. He needed time to adjust to the receiving core he had because he was thrown to a totally new group of kids, but now they seem to be finding their chemistry. They've won 4 in a row now, jumped back into the rankings.
Well, Slayton last week against Southmont, the last time that Southmont played them, Southmont just previously played Western Boone, but when he went against Southmont, he had 3 rushing touchdowns in the game and 1 touchdown through the air to just 1 interception. So Slayton is obviously finding his ground in Danville, and maybe he'll be able to revitalize his career.
Yeah,
And,
he's gotten at least 3 Division I AA scholarships with Indiana State, Illinois State, and Northern Iowa, which is Kurt Warner's alma mater. So he is, at least to some extent reviving his career. He will play college ball. It's probably not quite as high a level as otherwise would have been the case, but certainly he's...
Yeah, those offers from Michigan State and Purdue really just kind of went out the window after that incident. But, nice run here by the Ohio State quarterback. Still shifty, and, right there is not going to pick up the first down. Unfortunately, that's only a gain of a yard on the play. Yep, flag. Might have been a late hit on Indiana.
Yeah, which would be, and if it is, that would be Ohio State's first down of the game, which means they still would not have an earned first down. And when I commentated Avon, it's a personal foul.
Yeah, so there you go.
When I commentated Avon varsity a week ago Friday, the only time I've ever commentated Avon varsity so far, hopefully they'll continue to do some of their games varsity, they held Fishers to 1 first down the whole game. It was an incredible defensive performance.
I always love when you can get good defense like that. Trying to, just that really shows what kind of toughness your team has, and it's really hard to have a really good defense. The Western Boone, my high school, Western Boone's defense has only given up 4 points per game throughout this entire season, and that is probably one of the hardest things to do as a defense because you're out there, for on the offensive side, one play, you can only have one play, and you can go back out, you can go back and sit on the bench if you score. You could either throw an interception or rush in for a touchdown, throw a touchdown pass.
And now changes direction, so we got another flag here. If it, Darian Geerton rushed 5 yards, but let's see if it counts or not.
Like I was saying, if your defensive side, you're out there for 3, maybe 4 plays, trying to stop the other team, and it's just tough to try and,
Only against Ohio State, okay.
Yep. It's just tough to try and keep up with everybody else. And while the ball spotted back, a lot of yards. Got to get all the way up to the 27-yard line to get a first down for Ohio State.
So the Buckeyes still without an earned first down in this game. They finally got their first down of the game here in the fourth quarter on a penalty. And now we got
handoff.
Oh, good run up the middle there.
There's a delayed handoff there from the Ohio State quarterback. Kind of fooled the defense. Everybody thought he was going to roll to the outside, and then he just tucked it into the running back's breadbasket, and he just let him take it away for a big gain of yards on the play. So,
could you tell who got that?
I believe it was 40. So you're 40. I think it was 44, maybe.
Yeah, Mueller. Yeah, okay. So it's second down and about 8 there at the 35.
Still got to get to the 27-yard line for a first down.
4:21 to go in the season for these two teams, but don't go away. We got 2 games still coming at you today, the 5th and 6th grade games. Not even halfway done yet. But this game far less of a thriller than was the first one, which went down to the last play.
Right here, big handoff to the outside.
And now looking for some room. He finds a little bit. He gets up to about the 32.
That's 55 on the carry.
Yeah, that was Upshaw there. He got about 3 yards. 3 yards out of that one with 3:47 to go.
Well, we're about midway through this championship series, and so far still Indiana still has that goose egg on the scoreboard, but Ohio State still marching down the field slowly.
So now Ohio State just trying to get something positive to end the season here. 3 minutes to go. And now quarterback keeper there. He gets, I think he's going to be a yard short of the first. That was Darian Girton there on the keeper. I believe that was his first keeper of the game. Picked up 4 out of it. So now Ohio State, with 2:25 to go in their season, will try to get their first earned first down of the game.
It's 4th down here. What do you think Ohio State tries to do here?
Quarterback sneak, maybe? Yep. Yes, and he's got the first down and maybe a yard more. So he gets up to about the 26. So Ohio State still with a chance to salvage something positive out of this game, in which they have been thoroughly dominated.
Well, yeah, they've been shut out throughout this entire game by the Indiana defense. And right now, I think that penalty earlier, that late hit call on the IU defense, really hurt them and kind of bent their spirit a little bit, because now they've been really bending here against Ohio State's rushing attack.
It also could be just toning down the intensity now that they know the championship is in their grasp.
Yeah, pretty well secured here.
Yeah.
Even if they do give up a touchdown here, it's not anything to worry about. And yeah, nice handoff.
So now a handoff there. He's inside he's up to about the 20. I believe that was Muller there.
It's a good gain, about 6 on the play.
McGrath, excuse me.
Well, it's a 6-yard gain for McGrath. He sets up a second down and 4 for Ohio State. And Ohio State finally inside the red zone for the first time in this football game. They got 50 seconds.
And now there's a fumble. And nice
recovered
save
by
there
Ohio
for a 2-yard loss there with 36 seconds to go.
Oh boy, very fortunate there for Ohio State. It was recovered.
Okay. A friend of mine says that she can hear both of us fine, but that you're a little louder. So
okay.
That's
Go ahead and
a
turn
relief,
myself down.
though, that at least we're on the air.
My level is about down to the mute mark.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I'm about... Yeah, I'm only past the little first little square there on the mixer.
Okay, maybe I can make an adjustment or something, or maybe you can.
That's all right. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Or maybe keep yours where, and maybe just take mine up just a tad. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've got you up pretty far.
Oh, okay.
Mine is way down though. I think it's just because I'm using a microphone.
Yeah, that could be. I know that's one thing, about, hold that thought here. And now a handoff. He's inside the 20 up to about the 19, but that's the game.
And
so
IU
wins the championship 20-0. And there's jubilation, and then so the Buckeyes' last drive ends at the 19, which is the deepest they got into Indiana territory in the entire game.
That
So
was a tough break for Ohio State. They can enjoy their success in the Big Ten. IU will enjoy success down here in the Hamilton Southeastern Fishers Youth League.
Yes, anyway, not a whole lot to give in terms of a recap in this game, but I will give the little bit of recap that there is. Indiana scored 1 touchdown in each of the first 3 quarters. Carter Reed, with 3:54 to go in the first quarter, scored on a 41-yard touchdown rush. Adam Hogue rushed in a 1-point conversion, making it 7-0. Then with 2:51 to go in the second quarter, Hogue rushed in a 2-yard touchdown. This time Reed rushed in Hogue rushed in for a 2-yard touchdown. Reed rushed in a 2-point conversion. And then finally with 2:09 to go in the third quarter, Chase Koski on his only quarterback keeper of the game took it in 6 yards for the touchdown. And Carter again rushed in a 2-point conversion, bringing us to our final score of 23-0. Look at the individual statistics. Carter Reed for Indiana, 9 rushes for 77 yards and a touchdown, plus 2 successful 2-point conversions. Adam Hogue, 9 rushes for 60 yards and a touchdown. And Chase Koski, 1 rush for 6 yards and a touchdown. For Ohio State, the numbers far less modest. Weston Mueller, 6 rushes for 26 yards. Ethan McGrath, 7 for 9. Darian Gurton, 2 for 6. Dion Upshaw, 2 for 3. Sam Sponseller, 1 for 2. And Frank Fessenden, 5 for 5. And I do want to give one mention of this, since Colin and I alluded to it during the game, and we didn't get around to mentioning it. But basically, on Ohio State's roster, they do something I've never seen at any roster at any level of football, which is to give a nickname for every player. So the nicknames are as follows: Darian Gurton is D-Money, Sam Sponseller is Gronk, Ethan McGrath is Hawkeye, Jordan Kinder is Hulk, Ian Murray is Junior, Frank Fessenden is Dog, Weston Mueller is Wrecker, Jack Wade is Thing 2, Dion Upshaw is Bus, E.J. Condict is Nut, Oliver Callahan is Thing 1, and Mason Cantwell is JJ. JJ's a pretty ordinary nickname compared to the others on that list, but anyway. And since his initials are MC, I wonder where the JJ came from, but anyway.
Well, yeah, I definitely heard a lot of references to some Marvel heroes, and then Dr. Seuss in there, too. So a very interesting mix-up of nicknames, but nevertheless, Ohio State should be proud. They got things going later on in the game, unfortunately not at the right time. Indiana, impressive win for them. They really poured it on Ohio State, and their defense played tremendously well against Ohio State's rushing attack.
Yeah, they did. And, Indiana dominated on both sides of the ball, and they had a great game plan. And after that 41-yard rush, they didn't have a lot of big plays. It was just slow domination, pull away a little at a time, get, 5 to 10-yard rushes that kept the clock and the chains moving. Used a lot of time expending, a lot of the clock on their scoring drives, and just never let Ohio State into the game at all.
Yeah, and I mean their defense played extremely well. Their linebackers played well. Their defensive line was amazing. Ohio State shouldn't really hang their heads on it. They made it this far to the championship game, and they were fortunate enough to be here. And congratulations to Ohio State on a great season.
Yes, indeed, and congratulations to the Buckeye on being runners-up, and congratulations to IU on their championship. And they've given that team down in Bloomington something to aspire to. And so, anyway, we're now halfway done with the activities here today here at IU Health Field. We still got the 5th and 6th grade championship games coming up. We got the pregame clock set for 15:38 now, and we're gonna now turn the attention over to the players here as they're getting their awards. So, any last words on the 4th grade game, Colin?
No, I think we've pretty much covered it up well. We're going to take a short break here, and we'll be back with more action. The 5th grade team coming up next.
And we will keep the audio and video stream going so you all can see the award ceremonies. Yep,
we will let the award ceremony play out, and then after the award ceremony, we'll go ahead and start our new broadcast. So, thanks for listening in here to the fourth grade championship game. I'm Colin Bruins alongside Lex Zorn.
All right.